Hello and welcome to this week's top 10 plants from Bransford Webs. This week you're joining me on the line, a section of our nursery that we've recently vastly improved. So you'll have seen on social media pictures and on some of the videos over the past few weeks how we've been building this new facility. This was an existing part of the nursery that was old tunnels with sand beds that the irrigation was getting outdated and wasn't working to its full effect, and the structures were definitely outdated. So we've had a massive investment in this area. We've built this 10-bay multi-span tunnel from Northern Polytunnels, and we've also invested in earth-good ebb and flood beds. So you'll see more on our social medias how these work over the coming weeks, but they essentially flood from below, hold the water there for a period of time, and then drain off so the plants can take exactly what they need. The humidity is kept at a perfect level for the crops, and at the same time we recycle all the water so it uses the absolute bare minimum water we need to irrigate all these plants. So keep watching on social media for how that works over the coming weeks. As for this week and our top 10 plants, I'm going to start off with this week's hero plant, and that is Geranium Azure Rush. And I've chosen this as a hero plant because 10 years ago Geranium Roseanne won Plant of the Century at the RHS Chelsea Flower Show, and understandably it's a fantastic plant. But Azure Rush is that next stage on. So Azure Rush was bred from Roseanne, and the improvements are that it's a tighter, more compact habit than Roseanne. So you get the same lovely flowers that flower all summer long, and I can testify to that. I've got this in my garden. It's a fantastic variety. It flowers all summer long. The bees and insects love it, but at the same time it doesn't spread quite as far and quite as wild as Roseanne does. So it's much more containable, especially for a small garden or even in a container. So that's this week's hero plant. That's Geranium Azure Rush, which is online now to stock in your garden centre. So the other plants for this week, I'm going to start off with our Astilbe Unique series. The Uniques, again, for me, are one of the best Astilbes on the market. We've trialled so many different varieties over the last 10-15 years, but this one, which has been watered, this one has maintained its place for us because it flowers well, it holds its flower for a long period, and it doesn't seem to be as issues with dryness that you get with some Astilbes where they can quickly collapse. This holds itself and will take a little bit more dryness. Still needs a good drink, but it'll stay more dryness than other varieties. Then onto something a bit different. Well, not different, we've done it for years, but different from the herbaceous range that's online at the moment. And this is Lonicera Sensation. Introduced by Bransford Webs, discovered by a previous employee of Bransford Webs. It's the only Lonicera we grow, and we do it for a reason. It is absolutely outstanding. The scent on it is fantastic. It produces these lovely mid to pale yellow flowers, and you would just, on a day like this when it's warm, you will just get the scent off this wafting across your garden or across the garden centre. And as you can see, it's top of a 3-foot cane cap on there, and loaded in bud. So by the time this arrives in garden centres next week, this will be showing the first bit of colour. We've got Malvern Spring Flower Show this weekend, and Chelsea's just around the corner. And one plant that always makes me think of flower shows and garden shows like Chelsea is Astrantias. They feature heavily. This is Astrantia Star of Love, which has got a lovely deep blood red flower, nice lush foliage, and that'll keep throwing up flowers now for the next few months. Great garden border perennial. One thing that's really shining out at the moment on the nursery is this, and this is Polemonium Golden Feathers. Lovely variegated green and gold leaf with the delicate sort of mauve flowers. Just keeping throwing those up. So great garden plants again, sort of mid front of the border, looking absolutely wonderful. Talking about Chelsea and coming ahead in the next few weeks, and foxgloves always feature heavily at Chelsea. They're a really showy plant in those cottage garden themes that you see throughout Chelsea year after year. And this is a new one for this year. This is Digitalis Lucas Silvery. So the Lucas series has been around for a few years now. It's a really nice sort of semi-height plant. It'll flower at about 60 to 90 centimetres. And it's multi-branch flowers, so you get multiple flowers on the same plant. But with silvery, it's got this lovely silvery tinge to the foliages too. So it just stands out from the deeper green leaves of the other varieties, and a really good flower. So look out for that in garden centres. A new plant that was launched last year and took the market by storm and performed really well through last spring and summer is Cosmos Cherry Chocolate. So chocolate smelling cosmos, so that's got a scent of chocolate in it. Really good garden variety. I actually put this in a pot in my garden last year and it flowered all summer long, kept deadhead in it, the occasional feed, and it performed really well. So the first flower's just coming out, and each one of these has got a bud forming in it, 2 following on. If you want to write a colour on your beds or for your customers in their containers, you can't beat the Biddens Takatuka range. There's 3 colours in this mix, from deep burgundies through to lemony colour, and this one in the middle with the red eye to it. It's self-cleaning, which means as you can see how that flower goes over, the petals drop off and the new ones come through from below, and you don't need to do any deadheading, it will naturally do it for you. Maybe just sweep a few petals up around the plant on the patio. Great for summer colour, great all summer long. Again, a bit like the Cosmos, an occasional feed, and it looks fantastic. Then we'll go back to a good border perennial plant, and this is Helenium Sahins early. I think it's fantastic in the border. It'll flower at about 3 foot high. It just forms bigger and bigger clump each year. It's got a real place in any border with that lovely orange and yellow flower. It really stands out. It really signals summer. If you're doing a hot border, you're doing something a bit tropical, this works really well. So low maintenance. Let it flower along all summer and then give it a chop down in the spring before it starts off its new life. As you can see, really chunky plant with loads of breaks coming from the base. And then I'm just going to finish off in water, so it's a little bit droopy because we've had the weight of the water on it, but this is lavender essence purple. So a nice compact form of English lavender. As you can see, it's loaded in bud. There's more bud forming all the way up there, so you've got great shelf life on this, great impulse, lovely scent too. If somebody's wanting something a bit different to head cut or something in the garden, this will do the job and it'll perform equally well in a container or the border. So that's this week's top 10 plants. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Hope you've had all a great bank holiday and pushing on into May now. We'll see how things go. Good luck for the month ahead.